Well, here we are then. My name's Robert, and I'm doing my first YouTube clip whilst at home, having been at home for 3 weeks now, because I have no work to go to currently. I feel I want to give my pennyworth with regard to what is going on out there in this current climate. I've seen many good blogs, vlogs, I've read good articles, I've read bad articles, I've listened to the radio, I've listened to other people. And I thought, well, why can't I have a point of view? The reason I feel most that I'd like to give my point of view is because I feel that people are really not listening. They simply do not understand, from my observations, why the government is imposing its restrictions, why we are on lockdown, and why it says do not go out unless it is necessary. I have no axe to grind, political otherwise, but I think the government's actions on the restrictions aren't necessarily hard enough. I see people going out for drives in the countryside. I see cyclists everywhere. I see families visiting other members of the families. I see people driving to other people's houses for a visit. I see people stopping on the streets. I see people interacting in supermarkets. I see people not observing the social distancing in supermarkets. What do they not understand about isolation, about distancing? This is a virulent virus that will kill you if you have any vulnerabilities, that may kill you even if you do not. Whatever the fault is, whether it was planted by China, whether it was introduced into China by the USA, whether it's coming from 5G, whatever the reason, that doesn't matter now. That is something for the politicians to sort out after this pandemic has stopped, after people have stopped dying, after the NHS has stopped being pressed to its absolute limit. The government says, and this is this simple, do not go out unless it's necessary. That is to shop for essentials, to go to work, visit the doctor or hospital. So do not go and visit your mother. Do not visit your grandchildren. Don't go and see your friends. If you have to go out to do any of those things, just go as a one. Don't pack your children in the back of the car unless it's essential. Do not go out as a family. The reason is simple. If you don't go out, you don't risk A, contracting the virus, B, giving somebody else the virus. If you don't go out, there's less likelihood that there'll be an accident requiring you to have hospital treatment. All hospital treatment should be saved at the moment for those in need and in emergencies. The NHS has stretched beyond their limit, and they need all their resources to deal with the coronavirus, the COVID-19. Cyclists, don't put your Lycra on and go for rides. You're more likely than anybody to come off your bikes, to have an accident, to have a heart attack, whatever. And then the NHS will be stretched again looking after you. It's going to be a relatively short period in our lives. And when it's over, we can do what we used to do. This isn't a hardship. It really is not a hardship. It is necessary to save the world. Don't think of yourself, think of your friends, think of your family, think of your elderly mothers, think of your other elderly relatives, think of your vulnerable friends. Think of them, if not yourselves, when you decide, I don't want to go out. I don't need to go out. Do we need to shop every day? No, we don't. We can order things online. Do we need to go to the coffee shop and get a coffee? No, have coffee at home. If you need to exercise, exercise. Don't go and sit on the bench and sunbathe. Don't just go walk down the road to have a chinwag with people. Exercise, come home, lock yourself down. This virus will die if it's got nobody else to transfer it to. I am not a medical person. I have no qualifications in that area, but it is clear it can only survive if there are people to give it to. If it doesn't, it dies. Hence the social distancing. It's believed that if we're over 2 metres apart, or 2 metres or more apart, they won't survive the leap between the two. I'm pushed to say this because I just observe such idiocy out there. Every time I go for my walk, or I go to the supermarket, which I try and make once a week, or the rarity that I do have to do some work, which I haven't in the last 3 weeks, then I see people either deliberately flouting or simply not understanding. There's been a lot said in papers and whatever, the government aren't clear on the rules. The rules are crystal clear. If it's not necessary, don't do it. We're lucky. In Spain, you can't go out. You can only walk your dog half a mile or 500 metres, and you need a permit to do so. You can't go for a run. You can't go for a cycle. You have to stay at home. I know it's hard. Of course it's hard. But it's for all of us. It's for all of our benefits. The sooner we get rid of this, the sooner we can move back to our lives. There is help out there if you need it. But please, listen or don't listen. All I'm saying is, as an ordinary citizen, an ordinary person, please take heed. We need to stay away from each other. I hear every day that, oh, it's a breach of freedom. It's a breach of this. Yes, it is a restriction on our freedom, but it's a necessary, proportionate restriction on our freedom. If we need to consider restrictions on our freedom after the pandemic has gone, then we can tackle that politically, and we can tackle that as people, individuals, or as groups. But right now, what is in place is not draconian. It is thoroughly and utterly necessary. Thank you for listening.